Friesen takes the win in the Coal Cup. Champions are crowned at the Valley of Speed. Fast Eddie goes in the pits with a 360 sprint car competitor. The big money events have arrived and it's time to get it going. Race Pro Weekly starts now. Welcome to another edition of Race Pro Weekly. I'm your host, Mike Warren. Let's get it going as we start at Gene Cole's Utica-Rome Speedway for the inaugural Coal Cup for 360 sprints. The 30-lap, $7,000 to win Coal Cup at the Utica-Rome Speedway was on hand for the 360 sprint cars as Jason Barney would lead the field up into turn number 1 and 2 in the 30-lap event. Stuart Friesen would make his way in between Barney and then to the outside of him to come around to complete the lap as he would go to the lead early in that 33 machine owned by Doug Emery. Steve Fireball Poirier would be on the move as well as he'd get by a few cars on his way up through the field in that number 28 machine. As they come off the corner now, Corey Sparks also making his way up through the field in the 7 machine trying to get around Lance Young. Caution will come out earlier in the event. Larry White also involved in that as that would end his night in the Gypsum Express car number 99L machine. On the restart, Stuart Friesen would take control once again. Steve Poirier going to try to make a move on the 87 of Jason Barney to the outside lane. Poirier would go up to the top side, a line he would use a lot in this event. He'd come around off of turn number 4. He would be your new second place man and try to chase down the 33 of Stuart Friesen. Friesen would maintain the lead here as Poirier looked to go around the outside to try to chase him down as they got into lap traffic. You see Friesen starting to get into a gaggle of lap traffic up in turn number 1 and 2 as a caution will come out next, and that would bunch up the field again and give him some clean air. On the restart, Friesen and Poirier would drag race down the front straightaway, with Friesen having the advantage at first, but Poirier would find a little bit of bite on the outside lane on this corner as he looked to go around the 33, and he would take the lead off of turn number 2, finding just the right amount of bite that was needed to get to the lead. Poirier looked to be out in front and no one would look to catch him, but in turn number 3 and 4, an uncharacteristic bobble by the 28 would allow the 33 of Stuart Friesen to come down the front stretch as your leader and pick up the win in the inaugural Coal Cup event.
I heard him out there and I said, no way. You know, I thought the top was just pretty much done, and you got that little bit of brown right off the top of 4, and I don't know what happened. The car just got loose on the restart. I don't know if the tires sealed up a little bit or whatever, but I rolled the wing back a little bit more and kept charging, and you know, we came down for 2 to go, and that was about as far away as he got. And that lap we made up a couple car lengths, and we made up a couple more, I felt like, on the white flag lap, and just we went down into 3 and 4, and I sent it in there about as hard as I could. Got between 2 guys and kept it in clean air, and it looked, I don't know what happened. I thought he broke or got in dirty air or just got in dirty air behind the 1 lap car, and these things are so sensitive. You got to really be not only conscious to your lane on the track, but where you're placing yourself in the air. And I'm like, man, if I can get in there and just keep clean air and something happens, and it did. So I'm sure it sucks for Steve, but he's a hell of a competitor, and I just got to thank my team, Barb and Doug. Doug Emery Motorsports. This is just an unreal feeling. We've been good all year with this team, and I owe it all to them.
I just misjudged the lap car, so it was Jeff Cook, and I didn't see him run on the previous lap, so I thought he would run the middle, and there was some bite on the outside, extreme outside, and I was gaining some grip on near the guardrail on the back stretch. I didn't want to get out of there, so I followed him to the corner number 3. When I saw he was running the outside, I was kind of committed to get a bit high on the outside. I tried to turn my car on the inside, tried to slide job him, but I lost the air on the front of my nose, and the car just pushed straight in the woods, so that was a really bad mistake.
Stuart Friesen would pick up the victory. Steve Poirier finishing in second, Sean Donna third, Jessica Zemkin in fourth, and Corey Sparks rounding out the top 5. Earlier in the 2013 season, Jason Harrington got in a major wreck up in turn number 1 while leading, destroying his primary car as he looked to go back in to try to get a win on the final night of the season.
How do you like this car compared to the old car?
This is my baby. I'm so glad to have it back. It was one of them things where I knew I could get them. I wanted to get them at the right point in time, and where I didn't mess myself up where somebody could capitalize on one of my mistakes. So I just, hang out for a little bit and get them when the time was right, and when I did, and then kind of made the slide for life there. I said, "Whoo, it's stuck and we're good to go." The rain was getting to me. It was raining, and I didn't have no tear-offs, and I was trying to wipe my shield, and the thread from my fire suit got caught on my tear-off post when I was going into 3 and 4, and I'm like, oh no, not again. But once I said, I just want to pace myself. I knew there was only 5 laps to go, and I knew I had the lead, and half the battle is getting by somebody, so I didn't want to overdrive or make a mistake, and we definitely wanted to win this.
Jason Harrington picked up the win, Steve Mier finishing in second, Ryan Darcy third, Brian Sandstedt fourth, and Chad Jezio rounding out the top 5. In the Sportsman division, it was Tyler Dipple picking up the win and the championship. Peter Carlotta would finish in second, Ray Hall Jr. third, Robbie Speed fourth, and Michael Sabia finishing fifth. In the pure stock events for Lebanon Valley Speedway, Jim Gronke picked up feature number 1, Mike Eichstead won feature number 2, and Jeff Melt Sr. won feature number 3. The Big Boomers Performance Pure Stock Clash was picked up by champion JJ Hatch. 4-cylinder feature events were also won by Jim Williams in the single cam and Stephen Loomis in the dual cam. It's now time for this week's Facebook fan poll question. Did NASCAR handle the Michael Waltrip racing situation correctly or not, and why? Log on to our Facebook page to cast your answer, www.facebook.com/RaceProWeekly. Last week's fan poll question was, with Super Dirt Week just around the corner, what is your favorite paint scheme? Here's some of the answer that the viewers have chosen. We, of course, have Jack Johnson in one of his customary 12A machines, the BR DeWitt machine from back in the day at Syracuse. We also have the Albrado Race Andy Bacchetti lime green/yellow machine, one of my favorites. Another Jack Johnson 12A machine here. We have Roger Horvath in the black and pink machine. And, of course, one more Jack Johnson. Can't go wrong when you're going with Jumpin' Jack.
Sayers Auto Wrecking Incorporated is a towing service and an auto salvage yard. We offer 24-hour roadside assistance and damage-free towing. Our wreckers are radio dispatched for your convenience, and we're AAA approved for your peace of mind. On the auto salvage side, we pay top dollar for junk vehicles and sell a wide variety of used auto parts. We also buy scrap metals, including aluminum, copper, steel, and brass. You can learn more about all we do by calling Sayers Auto Wrecking today at 413-358-4374.
Racing's biggest party is coming. Not just Dirt Week, the Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week, October 9th through the 13th at New York State Fairgrounds. Either as the Triple 20s light up the fairgrounds Friday night, Sunday's 200-lap Super Dirt Car big blocks on the Moody Mile, modified sprint cars and late models, all part of the 5 Super Days of Dirt Track Racing. 5 days, thousands of laps. Get your tickets and event info now at SuperDirtWeekOnline.com. It's one party you won't want to miss. Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week, October 9th through the 13th. There's only one Super Dirt Week.
It was the final weekend which crowned all the champions at the Lebanon Valley Speedway. For Steve Huff, Tyler Dipple, Jay Corbin, and JJ Hatch, another year to crown themselves champion at the prestigious Valley of Speed.
Feels real good to be here in 2013, win the small block championship. I help a lot of people out, and for me to come back and get this means a lot to me. I won 2 small block races. You always like to get better and better, but we'll take it to win this championship. I haven't done it in like 12 years. Means a lot to me. This is home to me. Our place is only 10 miles away, and all our fans and all our customers come here. And to win here at Lebanon Valley is definitely means a lot more to us than some other tracks.
Feels amazing. Weeks we got docked 60 points, I think, in the beginning of the year. We had to start in the back for 2 weeks. We ended up totaling a race car. I think it should have been more like 61, but 1 works too. I'm happy either way, but it's just so amazing to be here right now. I thought I finished second at first. I didn't even know, and then all my crew guys came up yelling, all excited that you won. I had no clue that I won once I won the race.
It's pretty awesome to win another championship, especially this year, 2013. We ran a different motor program with Crate Motor and come out here with 7 wins in the championships. Pretty awesome. I got to thank my crew for sticking with me all year. Probably got one of the best crews out here to help me week in, week out. I got to thank all my sponsors, Cat's Eye, Perfect Premises, J&M Auto, Bobby Waters, Tinkers, and just everybody else who helped me along the way.
It feels great. It really does. I had a superb year in the top 10 every race. I think I ended up with the most record with top 5s and the top 10s, that's a perfect season. was kind of hoping my brother ended up being second, but a little being and banging in our race kind of settled that out. But
Now, how does it feel to actually race family so closely for the point title?
oh, it feels great, especially knowing I can actually run with him now after he's got 8 years more experience under his belt than I do. My first year, I go down the backstretch watching him to blow me away, and I was like, man, this ain't no fun. Then I can actually kind of do that with him now, so it's kind of great. I'm glad to put the 21 actually up, and my dad ran this number for so many years, and finally able to get a championship with it.
Sportsman cars were the companion event at the 2013 inaugural running of the Coal Cup, as Jack Gentile and Matt Janzik would lead them up into turn number 1 and 2 for the first time. Corey Barker would be on the move early as he get by the 42 of Brian Murphy to the inside as they make their way through. Keep an eye on Ronnie Davis III on the outside as well. Dave Marcaccelli and the 79 of the Flying Squirrel Rocky Warner were making their way up through the field as Warner, one of the hottest drivers on the Sportsman Tour. Here comes Beth Snyder, going to go to the inside of Davis III for the spot as Snyder would go to the inside lane, making that one as go as she's been one of the top drivers so far on the Sportsman campaign as well. Snyder would then go to the outside lane of the 31 of Corey Barker and take that position away to move up into the top 5 for the first time in this event. And then on the next move, here comes Rocky Warner trying to chase down the 32 of Ronnie Davis III as well. He'd go to the inside and go to work on Murphy at the same time. Drivers will continue to fight their way through as a 3-wide battle between Marcaccelli, Murphy, and Davis III would end up in Marcaccelli in the M1 being the leader of that particular group. They'd make their way off the corner as he'd try to go to work on Rocky Warner as well as Davis and Murphy try to come back on the inside. Meanwhile, Snyder would move to the outside of Jack Gentile to take the number 2 spot away in that 1S machine as he would try to run down Matt Janzik. Janzik would be a very far distance ahead, however, as you see the flagger giving the sign, and there's Beth Snyder and Rocky Warner fighting for the number 2 spot way behind the 2X machine as Warner moves into second to the inside of Snyder. Matt Janzik would lead him through turn number 3 and 4 as he would pick up the win as he's no stranger to victory lane at the Utica-Rome Speedway.
A good car. It would have been interesting to start a little bit further back, but definitely starting up front helped, and that car has been phenomenal all year, so I can't complain about that.
Green to checker run. How when you're leading the race, how tough is that to gauge where you are with the other cars?
It's definitely tough because you're like a sitting duck. I told that to the car owner before we got out there, and I knew Rocky would be fast. I knew Dave Marcaccelli would be fast because they've both got pretty good around this place, and I knew they were coming. I watched the board there. That kind of helps us out on the track, but I knew we had a pretty good car. By the time they'd get up to where they get in clean traffic to clean air to catch up to me, I think I'd be pretty far out. So as long as we went to the checkered there, green and checkered, I knew I'd be pretty good.
In the Utica Sportsman feature, the top 5, Matt Janzik picking up another win, the Flying Squirrel Rocky Warner finishing second, Beth Snyder third, Jack Gentile fourth, and Dave Marcaccelli rounding out the top 5.
Everybody jump in the car. We won't have to travel far.
To do the go-karts, the bunker boats, the big shot basketball,
And climb the rock wall.
Funplex is our favorite place. Put the groovy smile on your groovy face.
Bring your family and friends. Bring everyone. It's more than just fun. It's Funplex.
Pollinators are out in full force, helping our ecosystem. But in and around your home, they can ruin your summer. Flowers close to your home can attract bees, hornets, and wasps. Your garbage can also attract swarms. Bees and wasps can easily nest in eaves, shutters, and any covered awning. Most likely they'll nest on the side of the house that gets the most sun. So call Cat's Eye, unless you actually like getting stung. For more information or to schedule your free inspection, go to catseyepest.com.
If you're looking to see the entire action at the Utica-Rome Speedway, make sure you check out the Thomas Racing Video booth and their website at www.thomasracingvideos.com. Peter Britten has brought an international flair to the scene in dirt modified racing over the past few years. This week, Dirt Car caught up with them in his media call on how he's getting ready to go for Super Dirt Week this season.
Yeah, it's about as different as you can get, I think. It's, obviously Malta's are small. The track's seems like it's got pretty good bite in it for the majority of the time. And then, you get to Syracuse, which is a big 1 mile track and just a whole totally different world. And you kind of take away the differences of the track. I mean, obviously we know the track's a totally different shape. It's just the pressure at Super Dirt Week and I mean, not so much pressure, I guess, just you got a lot on your mind. There's a lot more that goes into running at Syracuse, and you've got radios and all that sort of stuff, and just it's a lot harder to keep yourself completely focused at Syracuse because there's so many different distractions. You go to Malta there every Friday night, you're kind of familiar with everything. Everyone is used to doing it, so it's not so hard. But you go to a track that's a once-a-year thing. Obviously you get a few extra crew guys that you don't normally have with you, and it's a lot of work to keep everybody kind of working together, everyone on the same page, and working together in the right direction as well. I mean, so you got to have a couple of a good leader or two in the team to keep everybody together, and it's just a lot more that goes into running at Syracuse. I mean, we'll have our car to run at the mile, obviously, with the big block car, the big block in the car. As far as small block goes, at the moment I'm looking at doing a small block race in Jerry Derra's car. He doesn't have a dirt legal motor. I do, so it looks like we'll be putting my motor in Jerry's car and running that there. I mean, as I said, that deal's not 100% set in stone yet, but that's kind of what we're looking at there. The Tuesday night race, that's going to be a separate car altogether. I mean, there's no way you could run a car on Tuesday night and then expect to race at a dirt week and be competitive, I guess. And I mean, because if something happened on Tuesday, once again, like I said before, it puts that week behind. So we'll have a different car for that. And I mean, normally we would try to have a spare car at Syracuse, just in case you're a component failure or whatever, you can get on the racetrack and something at least. So we'll probably end up leaving those cars that we run at Rolling Wheels up there at Syracuse, just to, in case something goes wrong as a backup car.
Apparently, I created some confusion with many of the competitors. The 400 tire really has only been an option in Sunday's race with 50 to go, and that is the intention of this year. It'll be for the whole 200 lap race, but it really will be just a Sunday option. It won't be available for time trials or the triple 20s. We can't really stop anybody from practicing on it, but when I made the statement about opening it up for the 400, we really truly meant we're opening it up for Sunday's race, and that there's a couple of reasons for that. One is the first and foremost really is looking at everybody's budget. It keeping the tires a little somewhat limited. That'll help teams get through the week on what they've traditionally done. They may want to throw a 400 at it to practice and see how that works out for them. But for time trials for the triples, it'll still be the existing 500s on the right side. The other reason we really are making that decision too is that with the racetrack surface as it is, we want to keep it that way, and without really experimenting with it, we don't know how that tire will, affect the racetrack surface day after day. So that was also taken into consideration. But it was intended just for Sunday from the start. I just wanted to clarify it. The small block, the Sportsman, the Pro Stocks, all their tire rules are remaining the same.
It's now time to take a look at our weekend battles. At Albany, Saratoga, the 50-lap Run What You Brung Sportsman feature event was won by Scott Duell. Jeremy Pitts finished in second, Derek McGrew third, Andy Dury fourth, and Mike Ostrander fifth. In the CRSA Sprint feature event, Danny Varon picked up the win. Corey Sparks would finish in second, Chad King third, Josh Benezek fourth, and Emily Van Imogen would round out the top five. At the I-88 Speedway, it was Jim Gabriel Jr. picking up the win, Sean Walker finishing in second, Mike Clapperton third, J.R. Hilbert in fourth, and Mitch Gibbs rounding out the top five. Down on the hard clay at the Orange County Fair Speedway, Tommy Meyer picked up the win in the 33 1/3. Mike Ruggiero would finish in second. Clinton Mills third, Jerry Higbee fourth, and champion Tim Hindley would round out the top five. It's now time for this week's Lasting Impressions Driver Spotlight with T-Mac Timmy McCready. Rufus Done Right Incorporated. Our name says it all for all your commercial and residential roofing needs. Call 518-382-ROOF. The Choices 301 program takes a multifaceted approach aimed at educating the public about the realities and dangers of what can happen when bad decisions are made inside a motor vehicle. Don't hesitate to designate. If you are a tracker series that would like to be highlighted on Race Pro Weekly, email us at show@raceproweekly.com. Ever since moving from the modified division, Jason Barney has had a successful 360 sprint car career, picking up 7 career Empire Super Sprint feature event victories. Fast Eddie caught up with the Constantia, New York driver.
Jason, you got your first win of the year here last week at the Utica-Rome Speedway. How important was that win getting set up for this race?
It was important for this race, but it was more important for our race team. We really did struggle here the last couple years, and we're always searching to be better. And we just worked hard on our stuff here, and it's important to us to run good here. And I think that, you know, this is the most demanding racetrack that we race on all season. I think if you ask anybody in the pits, this is where they work on their stuff the hardest. I mean, we come here 4 times a year, so it really evens the competition out. And it's almost like a weekly race for us. But you know, I think the cream rises to the top here, and the best cars and the best drivers always come out in front. And we feel that, you know, we need to be good here to be an elite team.
Now you're running the X1 chassis. What can you tell us about that, and how'd you get hooked up with that?
Well, this has been, you know, 3 years in the making. I had a friend of mine that worked with me ever since I was a kid, and he moved out to Arizona to be with his family, and he put an ad in Craigslist looking to help somebody, and Ryan Linder from X1 Race Cars answered the ad, and it was looking for help, and he told me, you got to give this dude a call. He's right up your alley. He can build awesome stuff, and you need to talk to him. So I called Ryan, and I was sold the first conversation we had, and you know, I think it's a special thing. We do our own thing where we can be our own people, and we work hard on our stuff, and he's dedicated, and I'm dedicated, and all my guys are dedicated to what we're doing, and even when we're down, we work hard on getting back up. We feel we have a special thing with a special race car and a special brand, and we just want to keep it going.
You've won here in a Sportsman, and a modified, and a sprint car. Which one was the hardest?
They're all hard here. Probably a modified. You know, we struggled here in a modified. We had some success in a Sportsman right on, and on a modified we did struggle. And the time I drove for Eric Kingsley, who owned the track, and that even put more pressure on us. But we've always worked hard here, and this is a tough place. It's as demanding as any place that we race on. The racetrack is really hard, and it changes, you know, a lot throughout the race and throughout the night. And it's a total team place. You guys got to be right on, and motors got to be on, and chassis got to be on, and of course your driving's got to be perfect, and no slip-ups.
You live in central New York, heart of modified country. Are you surprised how big sprint car racing has gotten in this area?
I have, you know, since 5 years ago when we got started, it's grown, and I don't see it getting any less. I think it's going to get bigger, and with shows like this, it's putting us more on the map for some bigger racing and be able to race for good money with good races and good race teams. And I think that there's more interest out there than there has been in years, and I think that, you know, there is some other modified guys that are interested. It's just you got to have good races locally, not far away, for good money, and I think that that's where it's coming to, and I think both clubs, ESS and Patriot, do a great job to keep the rules the same and the tires the same, and everything even. You know, the modified stuff seems like every racetrack's on a different tire and a different motor rule, and can't really work together on a schedule. And I think that's one thing where we really excel at.
How tough is the travel with the Empire Super Sprints?
It isn't easy, but it definitely separates some of the elite teams. I think that, you know, when you really works on being detailed and detail first, you know, you got to have all your stuff right and together and your ducks in a row. When you're traveling, you're only on some racetracks 1-2 times a year at the most. You got to be good at every opportunity that you have, and you got to make the best of every opportunity. You know, it's important to be fast every time you're on the racetrack. It's important to be in the redraw. It's important to draw good. Everything's important because the competition is so close that you got to be good every night. There's no we just don't go good here. We'll, you know, just go and show up. You just can't do that. You got to work on your stuff every time you're at a place and take extremely good notes and be detailed, because you're going to go back the next year and you're only going to have one shot at it. So the travel isn't as bad as the amount of different racetracks that we race on. You got to really work on your stuff and be prepared.
That's all for this week's show. For the latest news, results, and photos, check out Race Pro Weekly online, www.raceproweekly.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. So for myself, Matt Knowles, Fast Eddie, Scott Morlock, Dave Whitney, Dave Del Sandro, and everyone that helps put Race Pro Weekly together, thank you for watching this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.